The views presented in this program are not meant to express the specific views of the Lafayette Bible Fellowship. You are listening to the Vigilance Radio Network.
All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Culture Insanity podcast. This is episode number seven. So welcome back. We got a few things on the agenda today. Some more interesting than others, in my opinion, but news is news, so we cover it, or we try. We're going to be talking about maybe some Game of Thrones stuff in as least spoilery fashion as possible. I have no intention of revealing specifics. I know Josh isn't caught up, so I'm going to try to be super mindful of him. Not you guys, but him. So talking about Game of Thrones as it relates to millennials. Alyssa Milano is in the news again. Good for her. Good for her. So there's something to just break down there and talk about that, unpack that a little bit. There's a couple different articles relating to just identity and the notion of a masculinity crisis. So just the K-pop movement lends to it, and then Cobra Kai, the YouTube show, YouTube TV or YouTube Red. What is it like?
Premium.
YouTube Premium.
YouTube Premium, which by the way is going to be free now.
What's the difference between YouTube TV and YouTube Premium and YouTube Red?
So YouTube Premium and Red are the same thing.
Okay.
There's no longer YouTube Red.
And so they just rebranded it.
Right. And then YouTube TV is getting like local channels from your cable providers.
Okay.
Without cable, and it's awesome.
So Premium is like original content and stuff, and TV is just not necessarily. Although, can you watch Cobra Kai on YouTube TV?
You can.
Oh, okay. So anyways, talking about that, Selena Gomez has some thoughts on social media, so we're going to try and unpack that. So, yeah, a few different things on the docket today. Thanks for being here and listening, and here we go. We're going to start off with, Alyssa Milano, just because I want to get her out of the way and not end on her note. So, Alyssa Milano is in the news again for the same reasons, essentially. She's, in case you haven't been paying attention, she's sort of on this tirade. I don't know, what do you call it? She has this agenda about trying to fight the anti-abortion movement.
Right.
So she's been in Georgia, for example, petitioning to against the heartbeat bill. That's what it started at. The heartbeat bill in Georgia. After 2 weeks, you can hear a heartbeat, so no abortions after 2 weeks, et cetera, et cetera. She, got a following for that. She got some backlash for that. She solicited some responses in regards to that on her podcast, which I can't recall what the name of it is. And she was surprised to
Sorry not sorry.
Sorry not sorry. Sorry to bother you. Something like that.
Yeah.
So she was surprised at some of the responses she had gotten in regards to that were sort of on the opposite spectrum of what her views are. So recently, she's on a new kick here about in regards to the same thing. If we can't get this, if we can't get the state and the whatever to pass these bills or to fight against these things, then we're going to take it upon ourselves. And so she's started this hashtag sex strike. She tweeted, and she's got a whole symbol, big pink X. She tweeted, "Our reproductive rights are being erased. Until women have legal control over our own bodies, we just cannot risk pregnancy. Join me by not having sex until we get bodily autonomy back. I'm calling for a sex strike. Pass it on." So, without your immediate response of wanting to chuckle, because that's what mine is, what are we to make of this woman at this point? She's seemingly going in circles. And
I mean, I would go one step further and call for a sex strike outside of marriage too.
Oh, I see what you did there. Why not? But yeah, what are we supposed to make of Alyssa Milano? Because I don't know, she doesn't appear to be effective, and she's becoming like a caricature of herself.
Yeah, she's a meme.
Yeah, she's becoming a meme, and I don't know if she realizes that, but it's getting to the point where it's hard to take her seriously. And again, with this whole sex strike thing, she's getting a lot of feedback on both sides. She has, to her credit, she has her followers, that agree with her, but she also has people that are in line with her social views, but also don't see how she's being productive in the slightest. She had some tweets back to her, saying this. I'll read a couple of them. So these are the ones that are against her. It says, "Please stop feeding the narrative that women are providers and men are consumers of sex. Bribing men for equal rights with access to our bodies is not how feminism works." So this is a person, who's a feminist,
right.
but it's like, dude, what are you doing? Another tweet says, "This makes it seem like sex is something women do as a favor to men. It also furthers the misogynist theory that women should be shamed for liking sex at all." And then my favorite is, "Isn't this just called abstinence? And isn't this exactly what the Conservative Party wants?"
Right.
So,
like I said, let's keep it off till marriage. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So, and then, like I said, to her credit, she has her own supporters. "If they want to control our bodies' reproductive organs, then we should deny sex to cis men. Join us in helping cis men feel the physical consequences of our reproductive rights being systematically erased."
Where does cisgendered men come into it?
I don't know. I was confused by the tweet myself.
Yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with it, but I mean, what are your thoughts? What's your take on this? Like, is Alyssa Milano spinning her wheels here?
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, she's... I feel for her because she feels so passionately about the subject, but she's passionately delusional.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess all people who are delusional are passionate.
Sure.
I would say. But she's passionately delusional, and that's sad to me. Like, you want to pay attention to, you want to like make sure that people have their rights, but then you are also taking away the rights of the kids, Like, that to me is just it's really messed up. And so, I think that two things, and I think we've kind of covered this before, but two things: the nation isn't as monolithic as she thinks they are. So that's the thing. She's got less people who follow her that are pushing back on her because what she's saying, not everybody agrees with, even though they want us to believe that everyone agrees with it.
The vocal majority they think that they are the majority.
Right,
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's your first delusion.
Mm-hmm.
And then, secondly, her thought process is just, it's not really well formed. There's a bunch of holes in it. Like, I was reading the other day some comments, not on this particular subject, but some comments on abortion, and somebody... or I heard about, I don't know. Anyway, there were some comments on abortion that went something to the effect of, if we don't know like when life begins, which, by the way, that's completely wrong. We absolutely scientifically know when life begins.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if we don't want to call it personhood, we don't want to call it personhood till later. If we don't know that, then we should err on the side of life and save the mother save the mother, like if there's some sort of danger. And that's what's being said. But how does that make sense? If you don't know that, if you come across a person who's lying on the side of the road, and you don't know whether they're alive, do you then take a garbage truck and put them in the garbage because, you don't know whether they're alive?
Yeah. Where does the buck stop with?
Where are you drawing that line?
Same thing, like, the topic of this or it always goes back to like viable. You always hear this word viable being thrown around. What's
Right.
viable?
Right.
When is a person viable? I like the argument that a person lives a nice full life, a good life, and then all of a sudden they are in a horrific car crash, and now they're dependent on
Right.
machines
Right.
to survive. Should we now go into those hospital rooms with an axe and kill them because they're no longer viable? They can't live on their own.
Right. Yeah, I was listening.
Like it's a flawed argument, and by that standard, yeah, no one is safe.
I was
one is
listening
safe.
to somebody talk about how fetuses are parasites, which is just really crass in my opinion.
It's
But
really sad.
but they were talking about how fetuses are parasites. But then when the question was asked of them, so then does a mother have 10 finger or does a mother have 20 fingers? Does a mother have so they're saying that they're parasites on one hand that are sapping the life. Sorry, I'm not setting this up well, but they're sapping the life from the mother. But then on the other hand, they're saying a mother has a right to do what she wants with the fetus because the fetus is just a part of the mother. So then when asked, so that doesn't make sense for the record. But then when asked if the mother has 20 fingers and 20 toes because this part of the mother has those toes and those fingers, then it said, no, wait, that's what the parasite has. It's just like, what are you talking about? Like, pick a side. Mm-hmm. Like, be cohesive in your thought process. But, gotta protect those rights.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I want to point out, I was reading an article about the movie Unplanned.
Is this a new movie coming out or
No, it's an abortion movie.
like a documentary?
Nope, it's a biopic about Abby Johnson, who was like a manager for Planned Parenthood.
I don't.
Oh, it should be out on DVD, Blu-ray, all that sort of stuff. Streaming, I guess, fairly soon. But in any case, I was reading an article about Unplanned, and they were talking about how like they were saying that it was like really crass in terms of like just being like against the vocal left. And gosh, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't heard of this movie.
I've never heard of it. Yeah.
It's like gaining it has lots of media support.
Like awards status.
I don't know if it has any awards, but it's got it like it
Did
was
it like
it was
have
like
a run in theaters?
yeah. It was a surprise hit. Gosh, what was the point? I don't remember what the point was that I was trying to make about Unplanned. I don't know. We'll have to come back to it. I'm sure I'll remember later.
Okay. So
I'm tired of Alyssa Milano, which makes me sad because when I was a kid, I had a mad crush on her.
yeah, Josh posted a GIF on our little Facebook thread earlier that he just said this girl, and he said I miss this girl, and it was a picture of her from.
I'll find a picture, guys.
Yeah, she's this young up and coming actress and just innocent beyond belief. But anyways, so yeah, kind of tired of hearing about Melissa Milano and her kicking mud up and spinning wheels and not really, yeah, just sort of it coming around on her, like, and her own people are like, dude, what are you doing? Like, anyways, there's a disgruntled, I didn't mention this in the intro, but so gay superheroes. Read an article. We have an article that we will share. It'll be on the Facebook thing. It's about the need for gay superheroes or not. So Marvel has been, talking about, soon we'll reveal,
Right.
This character,
An openly
is
gay character,
an openly
yeah.
gay character. They're doing it with Batwoman right now. I don't know if you saw the
Yeah,
trailer.
of course.
It's just like, wow, it's really in your face.
Yeah.
So Marvel, is on that train as well, talking about we're finally going to get on board with that. They alluded to it, or they gave the gay community the scene in Avengers. 5 in Endgame. You've seen Endgame by now, right?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
This is a very small spoiler. It has nothing really to do with main characters or story, but it's like 5 years later, post Thanos snapping his fingers, and Cap is in a support group, and this guy's talking about what life has been like since the snap, and yeah, he's a gay character, and he's talking about trying to reconnect with this man on a date and blah blah blah, and that was the supposed big reveal of Endgame for the gay community, and a lot of the people were bothered by it because it was so weak.
Yeah, a lot of the gay community was really bothered by it.
Yeah, and so especially because they kind of were the Russo brothers were kind of like excited to show this, to give this to people, and be the forerunners of that for comic books, movies. Mm-hmm. So along the same lines, there's this article about this, and this writer's writing about the fact that we don't need a gay superhero, especially if it's going to be in the vein of that and Endgame. If it's going to be really weak and whatnot. There's a snippet in the article. It says, "Now the world will learn that a gay hero can lift a car, make a quip, and be as emotionally vague as any straight superhero can. That's real progress, isn't it?" So the writer is obviously sarcastic and disgruntled the whole time he or she's writing. "Seems to me like more empty pandering for my money. It would be a targeted social media appeasing ploy, the kind of shallow gimmickry we see over and over again." So, yeah, this writer is bothered by the idea that if this is the level of character we're going to get, then we're just as much not interested as we are interested.
Right.
So that's basically the long and short of what the article is talking about. And so just a few questions, like, do you think society shares the same perspective as this writer, like the gay community? Like, do you think
well, the writer's gay.
Right, but like they're a writer, so the thought is they're more articulated in their thoughts and ideas. But do you think like the consensus in the gay community is that are they just happy to have some representation? Is any representation good representation?
No. So yes, I do think that the writer shares this I do think that the writer, who happens to be homosexual, is writing from the position of the larger majority of homosexuality. I do think so, of the homosexual community. No, and I think history points to that. They don't want to be pandered to. They want to be either overrepresented or accurately represented, but they don't want to be underrepresented.
Well, there's a weird acknowledgement in the article though too, like acknowledging that the homosexual community makes up just 4.5% of
America's population. Yeah.
So do they think? This is all we're speculating here. Like, yeah. But would you think that they would take that into their representation in movies? Should only 4.5% of movies have these characters in them?
That's why I say overrepresented.
Yeah. So like, which one is it? Which one is it? Like, if they're being honest.
That's why I say overrepresented. Although they're right that 0% of the Marvel. I'm thinking now. Let me think. Well, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe anyway, 0% of it is homosexual in terms of its superheroes.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know at this point in the comics, because I haven't been tracking like who is or who isn't and stuff. But yeah, it hasn't transcended to the movie side yet.
Right.
Seems like DC will be the first with major character, right, with like Batwoman and stuff.
Yeah.
Who's not, for the record, right? Like she doesn't have that history behind her.
She's
original to the show.
Oh no, she does.
Oh, Batwoman does?
Yeah. She has at least since the New 52.
Oh.
So that's 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, no, she has been homosexual and is a huge icon in the gay community for comic books. But it has other characters that have been homosexual for a long time, DC. And have been on the, like, for instance, White Canary on the Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, that's been out forever. That's been out for like 5 years.
She is, yeah.
White Canary is a homosexual, and she's the leader of the Legends. So they've been kind of leading the way in terms of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how it's like it seems to me another example of, that side just sort of turning against each other, because here you have these huge filmmakers being turned on. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
you're doing us a disservice.
I kind of agree with the article, honestly. Like, if that is the way in which you're pandering, then if that's the way in which you think that you're giving representation, then it's not really a good representation.
Well, it reminded me of the Captain Marvel article too. Along the same lines,
Yeah,
like
totally.
her character is supposed to be this like strong female character.
Yeah.
But in the end, what they gave us was this just super uncompelling,
Yep.
stoic, nothing behind the eyes.
Mary Sue.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that article that I think we talked about a little bit.
Yeah, we did.
Sort of the same thing. Like, if that's what you're going to give us, that's not like reflective of a person like that,
I think that's the danger of running such a big machine. I mean, obviously, I want to make it clear. I agree with what the article is saying, especially from the perspective that it's taking from the homosexual community. I don't agree with homosexuality. No. I take the biblical stance. But I agree with what the article is saying. I understand why the homosexual community would be up in arms about that in that movie. Yeah, and I don't like it because just like what that other article that Adam's referencing about Captain Marvel and extreme feminism and all this sort of stuff, it feels like Marvel as a company, well, Disney really overall, is just kind of like pandering to people in general,
and so it's
trying to stay culturally relevant.
It's coming off as super insincere and, yeah, like it's almost it's insulting to the people.
That's the danger of running a big machine.
You're trying to appease all parties.
It's Instagram. Yeah. It's like you're constantly trying to put yourself. You're trying to get likes, and that's so eventually you start selling yourself out, and it's toxic, and it's toxic for what you're putting out there for the product, and I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see movies like Captain Marvel, which was, for the record, it was okay. And I know this is going to be really controversial maybe for you Marvel people out there, but I thought Black Panther was too.
Yeah, me too.
So, but it's the same thing. We're pandering to a specific subsect of culture in order to bring those people in.
Yeah, I think the writer even specifically cited definitely Black Panther, maybe Captain Marvel. Like, the culture took that as like these big wins, but really they were kind of weak, man. Like, just because these characters were represented doesn't mean they were represented well.
Yeah.
Like, just because you had a black-centric cast.
Or that their representation was anything novel.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Although, what I will say is just on the hype alone, it's really funny how much Black Panther has entered into culture. Gosh, what was I watching?
Did you watch the Charlize Theron movie?
Yes.
It was that Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, there's in that Charlize Theron movie.
Long Shot with Seth Rogen.
Yeah, The Long Shot.
Great movie.
It's pretty funny. I have issues with that movie too, but in The Long Shot there's is it a black character?
Yeah, it's
a black
Ice Cube's
character.
son.
Yeah, O'Shea Jackson. Yeah, and like at some weird moment I don't remember
it's like the peak of the movie where the two finally get to be together in love.
He's excited,
and he's like kind of in a weird way responsible for helping usher that in.
He got like a chant going, in the crowd, and then that's what he says out of his sure elatement. He says, "Wakanda forever."
It's a really funny part of the movie,
and you're just like, "What?"
Yeah.
So now Black Panther's "Wakanda forever" chant is synonymous with black people being excited about something. Okay,
if that's what it gives, then
yeah.
That's sad, but...
What happens when a white person in a movie says Wakanda forever?
Ooh.
Oh, that's appropriation.
Ooh. Or anything... Yeah. It's racist and KKK, red flaggy.
Yeah. It's just...
Like, if a white person...
Culture is insane.
Yeah.
Joseph Jesse... Okay, so... Jennifer Richardson Thorne says, what? Black Panther? Yeah, it was kind of a string to get there.
Forgive us.
Yeah. Joseph Jesse says, exactly, Adam. I felt the same way with Captain Marvel when I heard a friend's girlfriend say that she loved it. I thought, well, now women get to deal with pandering mediocrity.
Yeah, it's really sad. People deserve better, even if we disagree with the themes.
I don't have a problem with you making a Captain Marvel movie. I have a problem with you making a mediocre Captain... No, I don't even have a problem with you making a mediocre Captain Marvel movie, per se. I have a problem with you making a mediocre Captain Marvel movie and then painting it out like it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, this great piece of art that will change the world forever. Yeah, I didn't like Captain Marvel. You said it was okay. I just didn't like it. I was shocked at how little they used her in Endgame, but shocked in a good way. Anyway, so somewhere in there was a good segue to. It was a good segue to our next topic, talking about. We're going to talk about Cobra Kai for a second, but you were saying, pick one or the other. Like stop trying to pander, stop trying to dabble and appease all parties. And that's the trouble with running such a big machine, such as like Disney's doing with the Marvel brands and stuff like that. So I thought that was a good segue into the Cobra Kai thing we're going to talk about. So Cobra Kai on YouTube Premium has been like a great success, right? It's just finished its second season. It's been picked up for a third season now.
Yeah, it's great.
And there's all sorts of good following there. I haven't actually watched any of the second season, but yeah, you said you like it. So Cobra Kai has within it all these great themes within it, like great resonating points that the show offers. And for example, like there's a huge deal about like the relationship, the father relationship, right? That's a whole big part of the show is the father relationship between Johnny and Danny and their sons, respective sons.
Surrogate or otherwise,
yeah. Miguel. And then themes like the fact that like gender identity matters and is good, and it's good for a man to be masculine in certain ways.
Right.
Tampered with these other character traits as well, like humility and all these things, right? It's not just like aggressive masculinity, like oppression or something.
Well, for Johnny, John. I mean, you got to remember the Johnny Lawrence character. He was trained by Kreese in the original 1983, masterpiece. Mm-hmm. I bet you guys don't realize this, but Karate Kid is like Oscar worthy. Anybody doesn't know. Anyway, but that was the aggressive toxic masculinity for sure. And so he was trained by that, and now 30 some years later, his character is dealing with the effects of understanding the benefits of hypermasculinity, but understanding that there's a toxic element that's been bad for his life. So he wrestles with that.
So I want to read just a few snippets from the article, and then we'll ask the question. So bear with me, listener. Joe and Jenny. Says, although in some respects a continuation of the corny 1980s nostalgia of the original The Karate reminds Americans of certain cardinal truths about children that we all know deep down. This increasingly Gordian knot of the role of paterfamilias, I don't know how to pronounce that. Paterfamilias is a clear message to our culture. Children need their fathers. Without fathers, the likelihood children will suffer all manner of personal and socioeconomic problems, mental health conditions, poverty, drug addiction greatly increases. A large battery of contemporary research supports this, and you can look it up for yourself. This leads to a second lesson. Boys and girls are different. Although both Cobra Kai and Danny's dojo, Miyagi-Do, teach both male and female students, it seems the boys more than girls need what karate offers them. This is an activity that emboldens them, properly directs their testosterone, and makes them strong enough to defend themselves. There are many other profitable reminders in Cobra Kai that coddling children only hurts them, that strong masculinity must be tempered by humility, charity, and service, that people, even ones who have made egregious life errors, deserve a second chance. These are truths most Americans and most parents knew only 1 or 2 generations ago. This is a lesson our future is female world of safe spaces, alternative lifestyles, and public shaming campaigns has largely forgotten. Cobra Kai succeeds precisely because it urges us to return to these basic truths about the human person and society. One only hopes that creators will use a common phrase of Johnny's, have the balls to stick to the script. So again, picking which side of this thing that they're going to land on rather than
Right.
trying to pander to all parties. So just a couple questions. Do you agree that Cobra Kai on some level is doing so well because it's return to these like fundamental truths and like it's a refreshing message to be receiving for people? Like, I guess I want to start with, I'm curious, and I haven't looked it up. Like, I wonder what the demographics of people that watch Cobra Kai are. Like, is it an older generation that like grew up with Karate Kid? Like, how many young people, I wonder, are watching Cobra Kai that, or is it like an
I don't
older,
know.
Yeah,
I can tell you that this season, the season 2 was like really focused on the kids.
really?
Super focused on the kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question of like,
It's like almost watching like a CW show.
yeah,
Which, for the record, that's
Seventh
not a
Heaven.
slam for me because I love CW shows.
yeah,
It's
you do.
definitely-
You watch a lot.
It's a specific demographic, to be sure. But
Are we at a point in our culture where like we've been so lost for so long that even like these most basic of truths resonates on maybe more of a profound level than they should, but just because people are just desperate for truth rather than
So-
interpretation?
So I think that, yes, people are desperate for truth rather than interpretation. And I think that Cobra Kai gets a pass because of its source material. It's a little bit like
So people are willing to look past it?
Yeah, it's a little bit like watching a... It has the Captain America syndrome, right? So you've got dinosaur that's been frozen in time and now is coming out to play. And so you just expect it.
Interesting.
Like you expect that from Johnny.
That's a weird like compartmentalization that like
Yeah.
culture is like willing to do.
Well, this is the way we put up with old people, quote unquote. You know, it's like that old person gets to, I don't know, use his cane to look at a lady's skirt. And
But do you think like,
oh,
the
you're old,
do you think
whatever.
like millennials, for example, do you think that they will like view the show as like kind of crazy, just kind of crazy and outdated, or like
No.
you think that it will resonate with millennials too?
Yeah, I think that it does resonate with millennials. I think the stats show that. I mean, we don't have the internal stats, but we know that it was picked up for both season 2 and season 3 before it even aired. So, yeah, I think that basically because it's an old story, it's an old story that's come out to play. It's been defrosted. That's why I'm using the Captain America analogy. We'll put up with its like old standards, and that, you know, this generation in particular is syncretic in nature. So it's like we take what we want from it, and the things we don't want, we just reject summarily and say, oh, well, that doesn't work for me, but it works for you, so whatever. You know, the other thing is the vehicle by which it teaches its morals is a by nature disciplined vehicle. So we're looking at karate and we're getting to see what karate looks like on one side, the no mercy side, and then what it looks like on the other side. And so, you know, so in other disciplines, well, really in other fields like romance, there's not really like a strong discipline to it that is in the pop culture. But in a pop culture understanding of martial arts, it's like that's exactly what it is. It's discipline the whole time. So this idea that these people are peddling discipline based on a certain set of values and then getting to watch those values play out, that makes total sense. But if you were to be like, here are the rules of dating, you know, then people would be like, that's antiquated. That doesn't make sense. But there are parishioners of martial arts all over the world who still follow that, and they're willing to compartmentalize putting discipline into that particular part of their life, even if in everywhere else in their life they're not disciplined.
It's really interesting. Yeah. And it kind of...
It's just a perfect storm of allowing things in.
Well, and it does a good job of, like you were saying in the beginning, like, it doesn't, you know, we have a tendency to either on this side or on this side, you know, like extreme or extreme. Which extreme, you know, like, are you a part of? But it does a good job of showing the faults in both extremes and trying to, like, you know, find the healthy space in between. So I think...
Well, and one thing that
the first season of the show starts with like, this guy's a deadbeat, you know, like his former way of doing things, look where it got him type thing.
Right.
but then season 2, so yeah, and then anyways.
And Generation Y and Generation Z, the post-millennial generations, I mean, they're really, really good at taking what works and rejecting what doesn't work, what is inauthentic. And I think that's the thing about Karate Kid is that, you know, it's corny, but there is a level of authenticity to what works and what doesn't work. And you get to see that play out. And there's a moment in season 2, not to spoil, but there's a moment in season 2 where Johnny has to deal with the ramifications of Kreese's mentality that it's strike fast, strike hard, no mercy, right? And so what does that look like? What are the ramifications of no mercy? And so then
Kreese is his old master, or whatever?
Kreese is the sensei. From the first Karate Kid.
Gotcha.
And
the ramifications of...
Yeah, he has to deal with the ramifications of that idea. Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. And what does it look like when when no mercy crosses the line of no honor? And so there's things that, you know, can be taken away, and then watching that interplay. I think that's the most interesting thing about Karate Kid, about Cobra Kai, is you get to see the outworking of the result of these two types of training, from Kreese through Cobra Kai, or from Miyagi, you know, to Daniel, and now he's passing it on, and you get to see what this looks like when these things are taken to such a far extreme and given to another generation. And that's what the climax of season 2 is watching the
tension between Danny. Yeah, training. What's Johnny's son's name? Robbie.
And specifically, like, those two, Johnny and Danny, like, not finding resolution to their mentalities. So yeah, it's a unique show, you know. And the great thing about it is it's 30 minutes, which is really strange. It's not like a 45-minute show, so it's kind of like watching a sitcom in terms of length.
Yeah,
it's pretty accessible.
I'm craving a Karate Kid soundbite right now.
Yeah, totally.
All right,
wax on, wax off.
Speaking of toxic masculinity, there's an interesting article talking about K-pop. So if you don't know about K-pop, you're one of the few in the world that apparently doesn't, because it's a tidal wave. K-pop is this huge movement, like millions and millions and millions of people, like on this K-pop train. So K-pop, for those that you don't know, Korean pop music, like, it's just this huge business, and it's really crazy, like, and I don't want to pretend to describe the music, because I can't. How would you describe K-pop?
Terrible.
Yeah, sure, I'm down. So K-pop is terrible music.
Just picture it's like Gangnam Style mixed with NSYNC.
Yeah, because it's super choreographed, like super done up. Yeah, it's this huge presentation.
I mean, K-pop stands for Korean pop. Yeah, it's like literally what it is.
Anyway, so there's this debate, or there's this cultural divide within countries like China and Korea on the toxic masculinity of or the masculinity crisis regarding K-pop. So K-pop, they're taking these really. I don't know if you've done much research, Josh, but like they take these kids and groom them from a very young age, and like it's like military style. They'll like raise them up and take them through like intense like training, physical and vocal, and like all these different things. And if they don't make like the cut, they're like thrown away, like whatever. Like it's really crazy. Like,
so does K-pop have a revolving door of artists? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, like they're being treated like soldiers. Like, boom, up next is this, you know, like from a young age being like disciplined and trained, like hardcore vigorous training to be the next K-pop star.
It's Menudo.
Like, yeah, it's really kind of crazy. But anyway, so they're pumping out like a factory these people to be the next big K-pop star because of how big of an industry it is. With that, there's all these things, like they're taking these men and they're making them more effeminate with all these different done-ups, the way they're done up or whatever. And then to combat that, they have these schools and disciplines in places like China, where it's like schools for teaching like
Alpha male.
Yeah. Like masculine whatevers. So it's this really interesting sort of divide going on in this masculinity crisis. Where am I going with this? My question is, where are you? What will that divide lead to? I have a couple snippets from an article. Oh, to counter the effect, it's talking about this one woman in specific. She helps lead this school, I think. To counter the effect of K-pop, Tang is the name of the woman. Tang's trainees exercise outdoors early in the morning. They wear headbands with the words "real man" and T-shirts with slogans in English like "power leader." One mother told
Hey, it worked for the Pharisees.
S2EP, I think that's the acronym for the school, that she signed her son up for the boot camp because I think it's a good opportunity for him to gradually cultivate a macho character. If you are a male, you are supposed to have those male traits. Like Tang, she too is concerned about the state of Chinese culture, saying, I don't think the entertainment industry has shown good role models for society because the celebrities exhibit a more feminine side of men, and that's the problem. And then it cited the last time we really saw this masculinity sort of redirect in culture. It was talking about Elvis. And like when Elvis came onto the scene, here you had this guy like pelvic thrusting on live television and all these different things, and how it like took the world by storm. Critics of Elvis called his performances vulgar and animalistic, and like the Catholic Church, for example, wrote articles like saying beware of Elvis Presley, warning that like following him or looking to him as a role model will lead to delinquency and a shifting morality. So with all that said, do you think that the response to this is morally right? Obviously, like these camps and stuff. Do you think that K-pop, as you understand it and interpret it, do you think that K-pop runs a risk in like identity for men, like these men that are involved in it?
I don't. Yes, but maybe not for the same reasons. I think that these people are shooting in the dark because they don't come from a place of morality. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that there's anything inherently immoral about... Well, how about this? I don't think that there's anything inherently gender...
specific about K-pop?
Specific about wearing makeup, for instance. There's definitely societal specific gender norms. So I think that their problem is going to be in their definition of masculinity. Mm-hmm. And so they're choosing to define masculinity as essentially an opposite to womanhood. But really, masculinity and womanhood, they are their own thing. And there are areas in which there's crossplay between them. Just like I don't think that a little boy is effeminate because he plays with dolls versus action figures, which, by the way, is how action figures were made. Mm-hmm. Dolls came first. Boys wanted to play with them. I think it was, I don't know, whoever made G.I. Joe. I think it's Kenner. Whoever it was, they decided that there was a huge hole in the market with Barbies, and then decided that they wanted to, make money on selling boys Barbies.
G.I. Joe Hasbro?
Well, it is now. I don't know.
It was Kenner before Hasbro?
I don't know. Whoever it was, that's how they came to be. So G.I. Joes were dolls, and then slowly but surely they needed to make those dolls more durable, so they became plastic, smaller because it costs less to make smaller things. That's how you get action figures, guys. God bless America. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Adam's pointing to my action figure wall.
Crossover.
Yes. So I don't think that there's anything inherently moral about those certain things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The idea that the culture, that those things are related to effeminateness in the culture, that is something that I do have a problem with. I think either the culture needs to take it back as being gender neutral, so men can wear makeup and it doesn't mean anything bad, or it needs to stay on the one side. like just as feminine goes. I lean more toward the side of saying that's really a gender neutral thing. It doesn't make you a man or a woman. But then on the other side of it, the thing that really needs to be said is this is what it means to be a man. This is what it means to be a woman. And those aspects of manhood and womanhood are where true morality should lie. So if a man wants to wear makeup, that's fine, but he needs to be providing for his family. He needs to be loving his wife. He needs to be a good father to his children, so on and so forth. Who cares if he wears makeup if he, to completely be crass and low grade in my analogy, brings home the bacon. I don't care if he does that as long as he does what he needs to for his family. And that's where it comes down to for me. So they are running, basically they've created a straw man, if you will, for what masculinity, or for what the standard of masculinity is. And they are then allowing that straw man to be defeated when that straw man gets taken down. So I don't think that masculinity, yes, I do think masculinity is losing in this, but not because the men wear makeup or things like that, but really because they are defining their manhood based on other qualities that aren't moral at all.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, greed, right? That's the money-making machine of K-pop. It's based on greed. You want to be famous. You want to be, you want to have thralls of people who are watching you and adoring you, and so you're selling yourself out. That's not a male or female quality. That is a bad human quality.
Yeah.
But that's what a real man is. A man is able to provide for himself through these skills. No. So that's what I have a real problem with.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting articles and controversy behind the K-pop movement and like the morality of how they're doing this, like how they're bringing these kids up and stuff, like what they're subjecting them to and these different things. It's worth looking into.
So Johnny Yorga asks, is it solely masculine trait? Is it a solely masculine trait to provide for your family? Is it biblical?
Is it a solely masculine trait to provide for your family?
No, of course not. However, it is a specific responsibility for men to provide for their family in a specific way, and that's what we're talking about. So a woman, of course, is providing for her family when she's being the homemaker, which is the biblical position for women. I know you guys may not like that, but it is what it is. The man is providing security for his family. The man is providing economic benefit for his family, so on and so forth. Is that to say that women can't do those things? No. Is that to say that a man can't sit on the sidelines as long as... is that to say that a man can't allow a woman to do those things and they have come to that agreement, and so he, takes care of the kids or whatever while she works because for whatever reason it works better that way? Sure, that can happen. But if that security, that providence, the God the Father role is not being
neglected.
Is neglected in the family, the correction, the discipline, all of those things, if the man is not taking the headship of that responsibility, that's not biblical. And that's just it. That's just what it is.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what else we got on the docket?
Are we playing a game today?
No one called in. No one reached out. I can give you some stuff. We'll do it at the end if we have some time.
All right.
Let's cover this last one. So Selena Gomez is doing some sort of press tour for. Oh, it's for that zombie movie that she's in. Yeah, Bill Murray.
With Bill Murray again?
Yeah, Bill Murray in zombie movies.
But it's not zombie. It's not a Zombieland movie.
It's not, and it's got Kylo Ren in it. The actor.
Weird. Adam Driver.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the movie. Anyways, so I think she's doing some sort of press tour for that, and with that, FYI, Selena Gomez is apparently like the third most followed person on Instagram.
Yeah.
Allegedly. I didn't know that.
Behind Ariana Grande and somebody else.
Soccer player, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's
Right.
enough first. But she was being asked about it. She like what that's about, what that's like. You know, you have such a huge following, and she was expressing her thoughts on social media. And she said, these are some of the things she said. She said, Instagram makes her kind of depressed looking at people who look beautiful and amazing, and it gets her down a lot. And so she thinks taking breaks is really important. I think our world is going through a lot, obviously, but for my generation specifically, social media has been terrible. People aren't really aware of news or anything going on, et cetera, et cetera. So she's just expressing her thoughts on social media and the worries she has for it. So what are our worries, basically? What's good about social media versus bad about social media, and like what has social media replaced in our lives? How can we use it responsibly? All these different things, just sort of breaking down what Selena Gomez is saying and how society uses this medium. I don't like social media as a general. It's too exhausting for me. I like things like Messenger as a communication tool.
Right, as a tool.
It's an ease, but yeah, it's like a drug. People use it like a drug.
I think the difficulty with social media is that it essentially provides a falsehood. I mean, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's like, well, see, that already is virtual. Social pornography.
Yeah, I read or I was listening to a podcast where somebody reputable, I promise. It was somebody reputable talking about like when you're scrolling through, you know, with your thumbs, boom, 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 and you just see this scrolling. There's like chemical reactions going off in your brain, like in endorphins or whatever, bro science. I don't know, but there's something physically happening to your brain chemistry when you're doing that, and it's likened to like drugs, like what happens to your brain when you're getting high on drugs and stuff, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's like, so to me, it's kind of like pornography, because pornography has that same dopamine effect on the brain. Mm-hmm. And every time you get a like, every time you get a hit, every time you get a shout out, a callback, or whatever, you know, newfangled term they have for these things,
retweet.
Yeah, every time that sort of happens, you get a release of dopamine. It's like getting a virtual high five, and that's okay. You know, it's not bad, like giving each other virtual hugs or whatever. The problem is that it's a misrepresentation. It is you presenting yourself in a way, or I'm sorry, it is filled with people who present themselves oftentimes in a way that they have complete control over, and therefore their sin nature takes over, and they are not honest about who they are. And that's the difficulty, is oftentimes social media is not a true representation. That's why I say it's like pornography, where pornography doesn't actually represent what a real, honestly boring, oftentimes sexual experience looks like, in comparison to a pornographic experience where you got your swanky music and your pizza boxes or whatever you have. You know, and so... And, you know, in pornography, everything is the way that you want it to be, and it's on demand. That's exactly what social media is. Everything, you know, is the way that you want it to be. You present yourself a certain way, put on your makeup, or, for the analogy, you know, give yourself a boob job or whatever. And you put yourself in a position where you look a certain way, and everybody else is doing it too. And so you don't really know until you know that person. And somebody's life may look one way on social media, but then in reality it's not. And you constantly see that, where you have this fakeness where you know a person's really struggling with something, but they're not being vulnerable with it. They're putting on a good face or whatever. Yeah, so to me, it's really, really dangerous. But yeah, social media is a tool, and it should be used like a tool and not be something that we are enslaved to, especially as believers.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to be enslaved to that. I think it makes sense that so many people are, because it's a world of their own making.
There's a really disturbing episode of Black Mirror that takes social media and takes it to its extreme. And FYI, Black Mirror pretty much never ends good.
Positively.
It's a really dark show, but
Yeah.
it's interesting because it takes all these relevant things that are happening now and it takes them to their extreme and where they could go if we're not careful with them.
Right.
Anyway, so it's got this particular episode has Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. It's one of the early episodes, right?
Yeah, I think it's season 1. And yeah, like this obsession with social media and like seeking approval and all these things, like it basically leads to like the complete destruction of her life, and it's really jacked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy.
Well, and there's I think James, Pastor James, I don't know if he's listening, but I think Pastor James pointed out some article about in China or something. There's something. Gosh, what? Okay, that's really lame lead in. I'll have to look it up. Never mind. There's something going on like that already.
Scratch that. All right, so we're nearing the end. We didn't do our game, but I'll give you what I had. So, and this will be for you, Josh, as a music enthusiast.
Oh boy.
Okay. So in honor of Taylor Swift's.
Wait, do you want me to play the music?
Oh, let me lead in.
All right, you're leading in. Okay, got it.
Got a problem with lead-ins this episode. In honor of Taylor Swift's catchy but terrible new song.
Me,
is that what it's called?
I think it's,
Me!
yeah.
Exclamation point.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm kind of a fan of it.
It's catchy.
Here's why I'm a fan of it. It's a return. That's what it is. It's like Reputation is such a dark album.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so like over the top and extreme.
I can appreciate where you're
and
coming
I'm
from.
like, okay, pop.
I'm bothered by it, not to, tangent. I'm bothered by it because when grown adults sing songs that are so kiddie sounding, it really freaks me out. Like when I found out Carly Rae Jepsen was like a 30-year-old woman singing Call Me Maybe, like I thought she was a kid. And I was like, oh, okay, it works. She's this young kid. She's a middle-aged woman. Like this is
middle-aged at 30?
Okay, that's extreme. But anyways, my point. Like it freaks me out. And then I saw the performance with her and what's the guy's name?
Panic at the Disco guy?
Yeah, Brandon.
Yeah, something. I gotta
it's like
tell you,
so kiddie, and I was just really off put by it. It was really awkward.
That may be the only time that I've really ever liked that
Panic at
guy's
the
voice.
Disco.
I'm just saying.
Anyways, tangent. In honor of this song.
Okay, in honor of
summer
me.
song, because guaranteed it'll be playing all summer long like crazy. The trivia today was going to be for anyone that called in summer song themed.
Okay.
Summer, like big summer songs. So I was going to read the contestants some lyrics, and we were going to go. So without further ado, it's time to play the game.
Time to play the game!
Yes. So this will be for you, Josh. So
Okay.
I'm just going to read a lyric in a normal voice as if I was talking to you, and you are supposed to guess the summer song. I pulled one song from the 70s, 80s. I pulled a couple from the 90s, biased 90s kid, and I got a couple from the new millennium.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
I'm not going to get the new millennium. I can tell you.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
You're probably right.
All right, here we go.
You're probably right. Okay, so
feel free. So our comment section is open, guys. So feel free to
participate.
Yeah, feel free.
I'll give you.
James posted that article in case anybody wants to know.
There you go. I'll give you the year. The year was 1971.
Okay.
Almost Heaven, West Virginia. Blue Ridge Mountains.
Are you serious?
Shenandoah River.
This is a summer song?
Yeah.
Okay,
According to
so
the
that's
Billboard
John
charts.
Denver.
That's the artist.
Country Road.
Yeah.
Right? Take Me Home, Country Roads.
Yeah. Take Me Home, Country Road.
Yeah, okay.
Good job. Yeah, according to the Billboard charts.
That's a summer.
That's
Okay.
the summer song of 1971. 1981,
Okay.
10 years later. This is your birth year, if I'm not mistaken.
You are mistaken.
1980.
I'm 1980.
My mistake. I play along with the charade. There doesn't seem to be a reason to change. I feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I want to tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot.
I don't know.
Is it weird when I say it in these ways?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you sang it for me, I might know.
The next one, what I'll say is the next one will be hard for me to just speak and not sing.
Okay.
I'll do it one more time. I play along with the charade. There doesn't seem to be a reason to change. You know, I feel so dirty when they start talking cute. I want to tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot.
I don't know. Does anybody online know? I don't know.
Jesse's Girl.
Oh, I hate that song. Yeah, I hear it now by Rick Springfield. Yeah, I hate that song. I can't stand it. Every time it comes on, I change it because I don't believe in. I ain't down with OPP.
The year. Oh, I got 2 for the 80s.
All right.
Well, there you go. The year is 1987.
Okay. I was 7 years old.
I have to try and keep a straight face during this one.
Although if it was summer, then I was 6 years old.
You ready?
Yeah.
Se necesita uno poco de gracia. Uno poco de gracia. Para mí, para ti. Ay arriba, ay arriba.
Really? That
know?
was 87?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's La Bamba, right?
La Bamba.
By Richie Valens?
Los Lobos.
So it's a remake. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Good job. This next one, and forgive me in advance, listener. So your girlfriend rolls a Honda playing workout tapes by Fonda. But Fonda ain't got a motor in the back of her Honda inline.
Yeah.
Inverse.
What year is that from? 1990s?
92.
Okay, so that is off the album
Oh, you're going to give me the album.
Swass? Is that off the album Swass? I
don't know the album.
I think that's what it's called.
You can just
but
give me
anyway,
the song and the artist.
And that is the artist is Sir Mix-a-Lot. Baby Got Back.
Good job.
Is it on Swass?
I don't know. I didn't look that up. I got something else in front of me.
All right.
Next one. So
Okay.
we're in the 90s still.
I need to look that up. Hold on. I need to know.
Okay, look it up.
Okay.
Can I read the lyric
Yeah.
too? You can be able to listen?
It is. It's on Swass.
I ain't gonna cry, no, and I won't beg you to stay. If you're determined to leave, boy, I will not stand in your way. But inevitably, you'll be back again, 'cause you know in your heart, babe, our love will never end. No.
Yeah. Okay. I totally know this, but I can't place the melody of it.
1996 is the year. Do you need it again?
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh no. I ain't gonna cry, no, and I won't beg you to stay. If you're determined to leave, boy, I will not stand in your way. But inevitably, you'll be back again, 'cause you know in your heart, babe, our love will never end. No.
I totally know this. Yeah, it's Mariah Carey. Yeah.
Always be my baby.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, always be my baby. Yeah.
All right, you ready for the next one?
I could belt that out right now.
You have so many relationships in this life. Only 1 or 2 will last.
Is this 90s?
You go through all the pain and strife, yes. Then you turn your back, and they're gone so fast. Oh, yeah. And they're gone so fast, yeah. Oh, so hold on, the ones who really care. In the end, they'll be the only ones there. And when you get old and start losing your hair, can you tell me who will still care? Can you tell me who will still care? Oh, care.
That's pretty deep.
And based on the song, I might not guess it.
I can't tell off that.
3 brothers. Beautiful
Hanson?
blonde boys.
Is it Mbop?
Beautiful blonde boys.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go. I didn't even know that there was depth in those lyrics.
That's what I'm saying. All right.
It's like, you have no idea what they're saying.
All right, for the purposes of time, I'll make this the last one, and this is another 90s one.
Okay.
We never broke into 2000s. Okay. Taylor Swift was the 2000s.
Yeah.
1 second, please. This one's too easy for you. See, this one wasn't meant for you. Like, this one is made for you. It's not fair. All right. Wickedy Wild. Wickedy Wild Wild.
Yeah.
Wickedy Wild. Wickedy Wild Wild.
Yeah. Wickedy. Yeah, it's Will Smith, obviously. Wild Wild West.
Does it have DJ Jazzy Jeff in it? Or is it just
No,
Will
it
Smith?
doesn't.
It's Cisco.
Featuring
Drew Hill.
Cisco. Yeah.
Drew Hill, the group. That's a group, right?
Yeah.
Drew Hill. Yeah. And Cisco.
Yeah.
That was the
Drew Hill.
Big Will. Drew. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways.
yeah.
Okay, so now that we're done embarrassing ourselves.
All right.
If you're interested in today's topics or staying relevant, you can check out the comments, the links that we've been posted on the Facebook video. Thanks for the people that have been joining us and participating. We've rebranded our network, so if you're looking for any of our content, you can check out the Facebook page Vigilance Radio Network. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to that. You can find all of our content on there, whether it be this podcast, Truth Time with Pastor Monty, the Abandoned Initiative podcast called Upper Story, cross-examination panel discussions. You can find all of our content on Vigilance Radio Network Facebook page. So make sure you like, follow, subscribe to that. Facebook group.
Yes.
And if you're interested in exploring your faith, as always, or are completely new to Christ or the Bible, you can check out the Help tab on abfpdx.org. Speaking of cross-examination, this month's panel discussion will be on denominations and, what's the other one? It's a two-parter.
It's really just denominations.
Okay,
I think I heard denominations and worship.
Yeah,
it's really just denominations.
So May 26th at 7 p.m. here at Aletheia Bible Fellowship, panel discussion with local pastors talking in plain language about denominations.
Yeah, we got 3 denominations present and a 4-panel group.
Should be interesting. So you can join us live in-house, if you will, by coming to the church here at Aletheia Bible Fellowship, or you can tune in on Facebook via Vigilance Radio Network. So
yeah, and let me just say, like, for those of you who don't understand what denominations mean, it's just, why is there a bunch of churches who have different, like, some are Lutherans and some are, trying to think of ones that I actually accept as denominations. Why are there Baptists? Why are there Lutherans? Why are there Presbyterians and Episcopalians and so on and so forth? And what makes one right and one wrong, or so on and so forth?
Why? Mm-hmm.
So we have 3 denominations present.
3 denominations, but 4 pastors. So
yeah,
should be fun. Should be interesting. So if you have questions, you can submit them with the hashtag CrossX on the Facebook or Twitter page, and that will get to us, and we seek to answer them, or the pastors will seek to answer them. So May 26th at 7 p.m. Look forward to that. And again, for the people that were tuning in, thanks for the people that will download in the future, and look forward to next time. See ya.
The views presented in this program are not meant to express the specific views of the Aletheia Bible Fellowship. You are listening to the Vigilance Radio Network.